Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a statement to appreciate all that.
As you look at the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course, a track that has been around for over 100 years. Some argue that it's the most prestigious track in all of racing. Stock car drivers will argue Daytona is maybe on that list right there with Indianapolis. But needless to say, somebody that has walked through the gates multiple times of this track, you feel it when you get to this track. And tonight, these drivers are ready to claim their way as a victor of this race, the Brickyard 200, as we get ready for round number 8 of Season 6 of the All-American Cup Series here on the Captain Esports Network. We welcome you in on this Friday evening, getting ready to do some ARCA racing, or Gen 4 racing, if you will. There's $1 in the jar. I am the captain, as we welcome you in as practice just wrapping up here. As you see the time change a little bit as we go into qualifying time. Of course, qualifying tonight presented by Mike Husby Designs. Mike actually here tonight racing, which is cool. But of course, MH Designs Pole Award going to be presented here in seconds. The problem is the broadcaster made a slight boo-boo this evening. Normally, a broadcaster will go in, for those who are experienced on iRacing, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those not, there's 2 different ways to enter a race. Well, 3 if you count being a spotter. 1, you go in as the racer. 2, you go in to a watched session. Basically, the session goes up, you can click a button, and you go in, and you're a spectator, as they call it. Normally, the broadcaster goes in as a spectator. Well, tonight, you're a broadcaster who, for some reason, has been a little more tired the last couple days because of, I don't know, I got no excuse anymore. I don't work 15 hours a day, but decided that he would be smart enough to click on the race button and went in as a racer. So because of that, the only car that can be seen on track is myself, basically now. So we're not going to see any cars qualify, unfortunately. So what we're going to do, obviously, is just kind of get you through. We're going to paint the picture and get you ready for the race here, and we'll show a little bit of the warm-up session, which is coming up here in about 4 minutes or so. So hopefully that makes a little sense. So technically I'm in this race and could run it if I wanted, but I'm not going to because I'm here to broadcast. But as you see the racetrack there, looking down at the south portion of the track, turn 1 and turn 2, as you see, the corners look identical. Basically 90 degrees of cornering through turn 1 and turn 2. However, they drive ever so different. Turn 1 has its own way. Turn 2, you'll see cars get tight tonight, maybe even a little loose off as the tires wear out. They'll come up the north stretch here of the back straightaway down to turn 3 and 4, and the car's going to drive a whole nother way in those 2 corners. I've never seen a track where, I mean, I guess you can look at all the other NASCAR tracks, but a track with 4 of the same symmetrical corners driving 4 totally different ways. Let's take a look at the point standings as we enter the race here this evening. Casey Carrington leading by 1 right now over Mark Whitley, who has been on a roll. 4 out of 5 races. He has gone to victory lane. He's going to look to put his name on the Art of Bricks here this evening. Matthew Weeks sits 3rd in points. He is starting to kind of get his momentum going a little bit there. Zach Henry is 4th. Christopher Heller there, the champion from last season, still got a chance. Stephen Miles right there, also 58 points back. Jordan Owens, who's had a fantastic season, running 7th. Kyle Ether, J.W. Miller, and Nick Leo, your top 10 as we enter the points here at Indianapolis. Team points, 25-11. Starting to kind of stretch it out a little bit on TI, 38 points up. CX2 is 3rd in points, 40 points back. Spirit of Daytona starting to kind of fall back a little bit after the Daytona win with Leslie Law, PTP, TMJ, and then, of course, the best one of them all, Piston Broke, is 7th there in points entering this evening's races. I look over, Christopher Heller right now on the pole with a 52.40. So, good job so far in his part. Let's take a look at the Rookie of the Year and the manufacturer points. Kyle Ethier tied with J.W. Miller right now. So, 2 TI guys up there at the top. Sean Cassidy kind of a little ways back, especially the way this points format is. And 3rd, Drayton Cook, Mike Hamlin, your top 5. There, Chevrolet still leading manufacturer, only by 8 though now. Dodge made a little bit of a run. Pontiac's come back a little bit. And Chevy looking to maybe rebuild some momentum as we get into the race here in just a couple of minutes. So another thing I do want to point out here just a little bit, let's talk over the history of this race. This is going to be the 3rd time now that the All-American Cup Series has ran at Indianapolis. However, this is the first time that the series is using the Indianapolis Road, or the Indianapolis Indy circuit. So I could technically I actually could I could still go down with the cameras. I'm not like, I could still go down and watch the race. That's not a problem. The problem is I just can't see the cars qualify right now. That's why I'm just kind of out here rambling and just kind of in a blimp view right now. What I am going to do is here in a second is when the warm-up starts, I'm going to try not to impede anybody's warm-up. So I'm actually going to drive around and I'm going to show you the basic difference between this track and looks like warm-up's going to start right now. So let's get out here. I'm going to jump on track here. I do have everything synced up. Let's jump on track here and I'm going to show you the difference between... Actually, there's one issue I do got to fix real quick. And that is going to be in options. I have to change over to sequential because I do not have my shifter hooked up here. You know what? I might be able to get back to it from here. Let's see how far I can back up. If I get black flagged, like I need to stop me. Okay, yes, that's not going to work. So let's go on out here on the track here. So 2 things I want to point out here as we go out. Let me make this bigger so I don't go speeding on pit road. Okay. All right, so cars are going to roll out here. I'm just going to stay low and not worry about them and that kind of thing. But obviously 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, that's one of the differences here. 55, I believe, is on the normal NASCAR circuit here. Tight pit boxes, as you see here. I mean, I'm one car, and I'm almost taking up the whole entire pit lane, but it has the longest of pit stalls through here. Now, I've showed this before. Watch this when you come off pit road. There's a bump right there you got to watch out for. Start with. Then you come down here, turn 1 and 2. Believe it or not, if you get an angle, you can actually bring your car way out here. Yes, I'm on the track now. Back into the overflow, or whatever you call this, the warm-up lane. Obviously got to be very tricky here because of the apex. You got to hit it like a regular corner. Get up to speed. And we're going to see if I get black flagged or not here. If I do, then I reach my limits on what I can do on pit road. Thankfully, nobody's near me. And you notice I have not been black flagged yet. So that just shows you, you can go out and use that warm-up lane going through 1 and 2. So that's one thing we should point out. Here, though, is the major difference I wanted to show you, is coming over here to pit road. If this was the NASCAR circuit, okay, the NASCAR circuit, which, let me correct myself, the NASCAR layout, pit road would actually start right here at the wall. So right here would be, you'd have to be at 55 mile an hour, pardon me, Tyler. But because of the Indy cars being the Indy circuit, look where pit road is. That is a good 6 to 7 stalls right here to the pit entrance. So you could actually come in a little more aggressive onto pit road in this race. And I just put Corollas in the wall. Sorry, buddy. They can actually see me in this one because I'm actually in the race, technically. So, just wanted to point that out. That's probably the major difference in the layout, is that specific entrance to pit road. So, that's something I do want to put out there for the race here itself. So, cars are going to get out here. Let's watch them run some laps here. Drayton Cook right now fastest on the board, if I can get the cameras to cooperate with me here. There we go. Let me turn off the app there. There's Matthew Weeks crossing the board right now, P1. So the biggest difference you'll see on the timing and scoring tonight, I'll go ahead and point that out to all the viewers, is you will see my name at the bottom. Basically like I'm a part of the race. That's going to be the biggest thing you'll see on the timing and scoring tonight. Otherwise, it will look no different. So if you can almost jokingly say right now, don't worry, I have last place covered. So Matthew Weeks right now fastest on the board. Mike Cusby, Drayton Cook, Brad Delph, Stephen Miles. As we got a little bit less than a minute to go here in the warm-up session. Turn 2 car here wants to get tight and gets a little free off. You're almost sliding it through the corner there. Mrs. Heller, appreciate you watching. Of course, the mom of Christopher Heller watching. Brantley Roden, as usual, my little second spotter, if you will. He's quickly become in this race. Anybody else watching tonight, feel free to pass the word as we get into the race here. If you know some people that like to watch on the stream, as Matthew Weeks just blew a left rear tire, it looks like. Hypothetical. All right, so the cars are going to grid, and we'll take a look at the starting lineup here for the Brickyard 200, the third running of this race. As I mentioned 2 other times, this is the first time being ran on the Indy course. So that's the biggest deal about tonight's race. It is a different. It's the same layout, just like I said. The different is the pit road entrance and a couple little other things. Otherwise, it is exactly the same. Christopher Heller going to be on the pole tonight. Of course, the pole award presented by MH Designs. So congratulations to Chris on winning the pole. He'll start next to Mark Whitley, who is on a streak right now. 4 wins in 5 races. Looking to go 5 for 6 here, potentially momentarily. Row number 2, Jackson Van Pelt and Stephen Miles. Zach Henry, Matthew Weeks there in row number 3. Kyle Ethier, Corolla Steele in row 4. Row 5 sees Alex Harrington, who's yet to post in my post. Usually does, and Josh Dillon, who I've learned a very unique stat about tonight. Casey Carrington and hi-ho James Silvers there making a return tonight, starting in the 6th row. Mike Cusby and Jordan Owens, row number 7. Row 8, Tyler Burden, John Kreidler. Brad Delph, Terry Frere in row number 9. Row 10 is Carson George and Leslie Law. Colby Sutphin, Matt Schlosser in row number 11. Row 12, Drayton Cook, Nick Leo. Row 13, Craig Martin and Kyle Hall. Jacob Locklear and Shane Gentry in row 14. Shane's first start, I believe, is in 2 years. Justin Ray, Thomas Stanley, row 15. Row 16, Tim Abril and J.W. Miller. And, well, there's myself as the 33 starter. Well, how ironic we have a 33 starting field, technically. That usually works, doesn't it? You know what they do? Yeah, usually delay the start 1 lap, right? So there you go. I'm just doing what I usually do. I'm actually the admin tonight, too, so to say, and I just pulled the Alex move. They usually delay the start here of the race 1 lap, so we get 2 laps, so now it'll be 1 to green this time by. Let's take a look at the race information here tonight. 76 degrees, 54% humidity under cloudy skies with 6-mile-an-hour winds. Again, 80 laps here tonight in 200 laps, or miles, in the... Hang on, wait for it. In the Brickyard 200. I'm not perfect. Cameras tonight, presented by TrackCams22.com. Want to give them still a shout out, even though tonight, unfortunately, their cameras are not being used right now because there's actually not a camera package for the new Indianapolis track. I tried to use their package for the regular Indianapolis track, but unfortunately just didn't match up. So it's just the way it goes. And I believe the pace car actually goes faster too on the Indy circuit, because I do notice we're going pretty quickly down the straightaway here. All right. So 2 other times this race has been ran. As I mentioned earlier, Season 4, October of last year. 1 caution in that race, the whole entire race. And that race was won by David Tooker. Matthew Weeks finished 2nd in that race. The first year, 8 cautions. That was in Season 2. As we come off turn 4, pace car going to pull in into the hands of Christopher Heller, who's going to lead him to the green flag. The 3rd running of the Brickyard 200 is underway. The 8th race of the season for 2023 Season 6. And I reckon already turn 1, Matthew Weeks is involved. Corolla Steel involved. One of the hottest drivers in the circuit, Matthew Weeks. And Colby Suffin's going to get a break here because he actually started the race on pit road. Both cars hit the wall pretty hard there. Corolla's just ran over the 11. And just a tough break for both of them, starting 6th and 8th respectively. And that's going to put a damper on the start of their race here. But pace cars over here, I think it's turn 3 or 4 somewhere, as they try to get the damage fixed on these cars. So Heller going to get credit for leading the first couple laps here. I think they're still trying to catch the pace car. They're chasing the pace car. All right, so pits are going to open up here. We'll see if anybody comes in, tops off the fuel, because a pit run here is about 21 to 22 laps, which makes this basically a 3-stop race from here. Matter of fact, we're already at 1 to go this time by here, so. Heller's saving some fuel here. I guess we got it clear. All right. So Heller's going to lead this race. Again, if you notice, if I do pause during the broadcast, it's because I'm helping him tonight. Jordan Penn, Jesus. The Penn family, Joseph Penn, those guys are heading to Roval, I believe, for the race at Charlotte. So he's not here tonight. So I'm helping Casey with clearing flags and stuff if needed tonight while this goes on. So just forgive me when I... As pace car pulls off. And we'll go back racing here at lap number 4 after the first caution waves. Heller gets on it pretty early. Here we go. Let's try it again. So Heller, Whitley, Miles, Van Pelt, and Henry, your top 5 right now. Then Kyle Ether, Josh Dillon, Casey Carrington, John Silvers, Mike Husby, your top 10 as they come off turn 4. Back here, Tyler Burden battling with the 85 of Alex Harrington. This is a battle for the 12th position. Brad Delft there behind him, then the 99. As Burden gets a run here on the bottom side of Harrington. Very tricky spot to make a pass is coming off of turn 4 because all that momentum. Watch Brad Delph here. He's going to be able to dive to the inside here and maybe make 3 wide if he can get enough of the draft. It looks like he's going to choose to kind of hang out back here behind Tyler. Tyler will clear into turn 1, but Brad going to slide wide. Got very tricky there. The passes at this track are very calculated. Because look how much time those 3 cars lost to the cars in front because of just that move. Back here, Nick Leo, 21st position inside of Drayton Cook. Tim Averill there behind them, PTP cars. Mike Gundy watching the race tonight, apparently. I see you, Brandon. I had a smile on my face this week when the schedule was officially released and the Brickyard was back on the schedule for next season. know people say that stock cars don't belong on this track, but with the history of stock car racing and the history of this track, is it the most exciting racing in the world? Not necessarily. But I think with the prestige and the history, I guess, so to say, the 27 years that they ran the Brickyard race before they went to the road course for a couple seasons, that kind of history, I think, deserves to be on this track. As you see Leslie Launder track as Matt Schlosser going to take a position away. Move him up to the 18th spot around the 27 Dunkin' Donuts mobile. Speeds near 200 miles an hour down these straightaways. Let's jump up here. Kyle Ethier, Zach Henry putting some pressure on Jackson Van Pelt. See the cars just kind of washing out a little bit. Been hearing a little bit of tight on the radios. As Henry gets a pretty good run on Ethier. See if Kyle lets him go. He does. Good traditional Indianapolis pass right there for position. Ooh, 199 down to turn 3. Slow down to what, about 149 maybe or so, 150. Roll back to the throttle down the short chute here on the north end. Into turn number 4. Almost can trail brake maybe a little bit into those corners there just to get the nose set, and then right back to it and then down the long straightaway here. So I think Heller was kind of protecting the bottom lane there. I couldn't tell. I saw somebody way down on the inside of the track there for a second. Oh, did Heller get the wall there? Is pull of Jeff Bodine? Was it him in 94 that goes that gets the outside wall leading, or was that Earnhardt? I can't remember. I have to go back and watch the race. So now with the caution coming out there at lap 1, the question that comes into play is, did you save enough fuel to make this race to where you could pit a little earlier and have a quicker stop on lap 20? Or did you put enough fuel in the car to assure that this is a 3-stop race the rest of the way? Which I think either way, the answer to that would be yes. Just a matter of how you want to approach this thing. Is Terry Freer looking inside? Going to bring Schlosser with him on the inside of Harrington there in that 85 car. You see the 53 Nintendo car of Carson George getting passed by Leslie Law. Up front, here comes Whitley. And Whitley goes to the front. Yeah, right, go to 22. If you go to 22, I mean, I think you're all but assuring yourself a 3-stop race. The only thing you got to worry about when you do that kind of move is overtime. But after last season's race, you kind of wonder that, you know, that one caution we had at the beginning of the race was kind of an anomaly. I mean, last season's race, we went green for a long time, had the caution, and then went the rest of the way green. I mean, this race could easily go green the rest of the way. Here comes Carrington, that Casey Kane Dodge, as not Whitley, but Ethier scrapes up the outside wall. Trying to apex to turn 3 area there. As the sun's starting to come out a little bit. They were making jokes during the pre-race that there's rain potential in the area, but as you see, now the sun is making an appearance. 13 laps complete. Lap times have fallen off about 3/4 of a second. Not really a lot. As we look back here, J.W. Miller, hometown track for this man right here in the 6. I guess you would call it his hometown track. You see the photo there at the bottom. I talked about this in another league. That photo is he and his father, and that is turn 1 at the Brickyard. On the track and everything. So, to J.W., this track means a lot to him, being a Midwesterner. So he's looking to potentially work his way back towards the front of this field and maybe compete for this win here later in this race. But JW right now in the 19th position. Got a little bit of work to do here as we have 65 laps to go. Check in on one of our Indiana drivers here, Tyler Burden at 36 car. Tyler actually living on the other side of the city where I'm at now, up here in the Fort Wayne area of Indiana. He and I were discussing earlier the Paul Menard race. Of course, 2011, Paul Menard goes to victory lane. And it's actually a race that I was at. As somebody about wrecked back there off turn 4. Looked like Drayton Cook. Ethier's going to go around him, so is Harrington. But in that race, it's funny because it's the one claim to fame I have where I can say I was in the classic start-finish line shot, if you will. The one where they show the shot from the tower. The cross start finish line, it stays right there on the start finish on the flag guy or whatever. So I'm actually in that shot with Menard crossing the line. And I was pointing it out in a photo earlier to the league in chat and Discord. But some people gave me the old cap quote, Stephen Miles. And so I told him I had to go find the video and show it to you. So Heller about half second back as Harrington's on pit road. I think he had some kind of issues and some contact maybe off the corner because I heard it a little bit of talking to each other just now. Let's see what transpired here. Yeah, Harrington gets loose. Oh, and Drayton Cook hooks him into the wall. That probably gave him a meatball, if anything. Don't see much nose on Bugs Bunny's nose. That is not the way you want this race to go for you. Let's watch one more time here. And Alex gets loose off the corner, and Drayton, unfortunately, just nowhere to go there. Trying to carry the momentum. Bam, turns him into the wall. And these cars, I mean, you lift them so easily off the ground. It's crazy. $18 laps complete. As Thomas Stanley comes to pit road in the 62 car. And what I will try to do here is if we get past this round of green flag pit stops there, whoa, did James Silvers go for a hot pocket? See some right front damage on that 17, it looks like there, as he's in a interesting looking Budweiser paint. I'll jump over to YouTube and see if I can find that race. I know I can, just type in, I'm sure I can go in the NASCAR page if I need to and pull it up there. But Oh, the 85 spinning down here in the back straightaway. Coming off pit road. No caution. Is he still down? He towed, and I think he kept himself far enough down. No caution. No caution, so we're good. '85 having a bad night here at Indianapolis. What happened this time around? See the right front damage still on the car from getting turned. And I think the looseness of turn 2 bit him. Just goes side. Oh, boy. Oh, into the inside wall hard. Surprised that car didn't disintegrate. But that's over in the tire barrier area there. Thankfully, that's there. For those who don't remember, a couple seasons ago when Brad Keselowski had a interesting ride off one of those. There's Mike Husby in the 19 car. Jackson Van Pelt and Tyler Burden there with him. All right, here we go. Pit stop starting. Kyle Ethier, first one in. And he about wrecked. As I mentioned earlier, the tightest pit boxes, one of the tightest pit boxes in all of racing, but the longest when it comes from the back to the front. As Ether pulls in, should be 4 tires and fuel here. .14.7, good stop for Ether. And the best thing here about this track is you can play that undercut game here, and you could stay on the lead lap if you get the yellow. But, again, you're playing with fire when that happens, because you are going to have a little bit older tires than everybody else's. Casey Carrington, Jordan Owens going to come to pit road. You got a little bit of more buffer. You can see back there the cone where I was talking about. You got about 6 pit boxes there of added speed you can have going to your pit stall. Nick Leo on pit road also. Right side tires and fuel. There's Carrington kind of going out there a little bit, as I mentioned, trying to get that little advantage through the short chute here. Josh Dillon, Mike Husby, Jackson Van Pelt, Leslie Lawlaw coming to pit road here, lap number 23. Might hear some audio here in a second, just FYI. As the multitasking has began. So here we go, green flag pit stops, lap number 22. I think we're going to see a lot of guys coming in this time by. Here comes Whitley. Is Heller coming with him? He sure is not. Miles comes with him. Henry coming with him. So the 3 of the top 4 on pit road. There's Tyler Burton dipping off. Whitley pulls away. Good stop there. Good stop for a lot of these guys. Tyler Burton, as I mentioned, J.W. Miller's guys in. Here comes Heller. Gets it down to 60 miles an hour as he comes in. So green flag pit stops here at 24. You see Schlosser coming in. So now it's a matter of who gets the undercut here with the newer tires. Four tires in fuel for Heller. Good stop, 14.4 for him. There's your leader now, Justin Ray. And then when pit stops end here, Casey Carrington is actually going to jump to the front here, it looks like. Let's see Matthew Weeks, who's in that first caution. He's trying to battle his way back. There's Kyle Hall, Craig Martin on pit road. So just Ray, the only one left to make a pit stop here. And Justin Ray is going to, I think, hand off the lead here to Casey Carrington. And he's actually going to be under attack. He might not even get the lead here as Whitley is coming. About 2 lap fresher tires, which, believe it or not, Indianapolis means a lot. Look at the difference there as Whitley shallow entries a little bit just to get the air on that nose. Casey a little bit of a wider apex. See if he's going to get the bonus point for leading a lap, but Whitley is right there with him. And there goes Whitley. Casey lets him go by for the lead. So the 77 back to the front. Stephen Miles up to third. And arguably the biggest loser in this whole thing might be Christopher Heller. I hate to say that because he had a great stop and his pit times are right there with the others. But they're so tight. And with the undercut and stuff like that, he's actually fallen back to the 6th position here, behind his teammate Zach Henry. So, I mean, I look at the pit times here. I mean, Whitley was 48.98 Delta, and then Casey was a 48.28, 48.47 for Miles, 49.10 for Ethier. I mean, Heller was a 49.12. I mean, they're all right there. Unscheduled stop for Shane Gentry in the 26 car. Oh, issues. Carson George and Terry Freer is now going around in the backstretch. George is able to save it. Freer's over here in the infield yard. And Terry's still sitting here. He finally tows, so no caution. And Carson George comes to pit road, so another wreck where nobody spins on the track. Taylor Henry cheering on Zach, obviously in the race. As you watch the 6 of J.W. Miller trying to catch the 400 car to make the pass, you see now Whitley starting to work on some lap traffic, and Carrington starting to fall in the clutches of Stephen Miles in that 1 car. Miles has been putting in that effort, trying to do what it takes to win himself another race in this series, but just shows you how tough it is. Miles is one of those guys, if he had 24 hours of non-work, he would practice for those 24 hours. He's that kind of guy. Lap car pulls down to let those 2 leaders go by. Oh, Casey into the outside wall, trying to let Miles by. Not sure how much that's going to hurt the 9 car, but he'll fall back to 3rd as these guys 2.5 seconds back. As the 77 car just continues to lead this race. You can see the right front damage now on the the 9 car as we come up close to halfway already in this race, so we're flying by here pretty quickly. Let's go back here to the 10th position. Tyler Burden trying to hold off Jackson Van Pelt. Jackson started up there near the top 5. Unfortunately, has fallen back just a little bit in this race. You see Schlosser back there with J.W. Miller still trying to fight. Jump up here to 3rd as Henry is now caught the 9 car. So is Christopher Heller here, as that damage is definitely playing a role in Casey's car there, as he is starting to fall off big time, and Whitley is just getting faster and faster as the sun goes out there, as Henry makes the pass. Let's see if Casey's probably going to let Heller go by here too in turn 2. George back on pit road, unscheduled pit stop. And should mention now 3 cars off the track: Alex Harrington, Tim Averill, and Jacob Locklear. Let's go back here. There's a couple cars fighting. How about that 28 there, the 24, Colby Sutphin? I was watching him. He obviously started on pit road, but right now is the first car a lap down. If I'm seeing this right. Nope, I'm sorry. He's the second car a lap down behind Corolla Steele, the 25th position. So he's going to need some help as Husby pops inside here on Kyle Ethier for position. So we're going to see pit stops once again here coming up in the next probably 5 laps, 5 to 10 laps. 22 would be 44. So maybe 7 laps or so. Brad Delph and James Silver's battle here. This is the 14th position here. Of course, James part-time, racing whenever he can there. And that, as I called earlier, unique-looking Budweiser car. The red, white, and blue. I do like the colors on it. Just different looking. The 14 there, Brad Delph, Snap Fitness on his car. As we're 2 laps away from the halfway point now. Here's a great question. If you're Stephen Miles, you're 3.4 seconds back right now. And obviously, big time green flag look going here. We've been green since pretty much the beginning of the race. You try to pit early here at lap 40, knowing that it's a one-stopper the rest of the way, to try to counter Mark Whitley to say, hey, you know, it's my only way I'm going to be able to beat you is to do something different. Something I think to consider here. As Heller starting to get a run on his teammate here. Let's see if Henry gives him some room. He sure does. And well, unfortunately, though, that is not how you do an Indianapolis pass right there. Probably been better off doing it on entry, but either way it works out. As Kyle Ethier is back on pit road at lap 40. Uh-oh. Corolla Steele off track over here in the infield, turn 2. That is an interest. I don't think that's a groove. I don't think that's the groove here. I mean, it's the quickest way around technically because he's at the inside wall. As the 0-1 with heavy damage on the right front. As Ethier pulls away. Kyle about, well, no, because Kyle just went a lap down. So I was going to say about still track position here, but unfortunately he's too far back. You have to be about 12 seconds or less behind the leader. So anybody from about Jordan Owens up, if you pit would stay on the lead lap. That's a fair assessment, Mr. Tucker. Nick Leo on pit road now in the 69 car. Four tires and fuel for these guys. And Leo pulls away, good stop on his end. Jordan Owens has been hawked down. This 19 car getting faster and faster as this race goes. You see how Husby's able to just put that car down on that white line or a little bit below it, getting that little bit of air to it. Backs up turn 2 here. And again, look how low that nose is, and that allows him to plan it, get that run to the inside. Should be able to drag race him down the straightaway here. And Jordan should let him go into turn 3, and he does. Pulls right back in line. And the basic reason why I bring that up right there is the least amount of time you are going to lose in a situation like that is going to be on entrance of corner, letting that car pass at that moment. As we got more cars coming to pit road, Carrington, Husby, Jordan Owens coming right in behind these guys. If you go into a corner side by side here to Indianapolis, not only are you going to lose a lot of momentum, but if there's a car behind you too, that car could jump both of you coming down the straightaway. So let's see if Carrington actually tries to get this right front damage fixed a little bit here. Right side tires on. So Carrington obviously pulls away there without getting the right front fix. Husby pulls away towards Owens. And here comes the leader to pit road. So now, with Whitley pitting, if you're Miles, you stay out as long as you can go. It might be a lap, it might be 2 laps. We're trying to take advantage of the fresher tires. This is lap 44. Heller almost overshot his pit stall. That would not have helped him. $15 flat for Heller, or for Whitley. Here's the 07 of Van Pelt's on pit road. Drayton Cook on pit road. So is Jackson Van Pelt, as I mentioned. So now it's a matter of when does Miles come to pit road. And has Miles been saving fuel while running in second? It looks so. He's going to go another lap here. I heard Casey Carrington over the audio say that I've never seen 2 laps of tires make a difference like it is today. So, I mean, who knows? This might be the only counterplay the one car has right now. Now, if he gets a caution, unfortunately, he is going to kind of bite the bullet here because some of the cars are going to be able to stay out on the lead lap. I mean, let's look where the one is on the track. There he is on the back straightaway. So you look at Kyle Ether, you look at Mike Husby up here, Jordan Owens, the 8 of Heller, the 9 of Carrington. All these cars are still on the lead lap because of the 1 being the leader right there. And Miles is on pit road now. So here comes the 1. Coming in hot. Got everything he could out of that car. More tires and fuel, 14.5. Whitley did just go by a second ago. Not only that, but it's going to have a pretty big lead here. It looks like. I saw somebody else go by too. we'll see the difference now between Whitley and Miles. It's going to be about 6 or 7 seconds. Now, one thing I am going to point out, how about this? Mark Whitley, 49.08 Delta. Miles, 47.80. That's the fastest anybody has been in and out of pit road this race. That's something I don't point out a lot, but that's a very fast time. So, yeah, he lost about 4 seconds on track to the leader, but he gained about 1.2 getting in and out of pit road. So we'll see how much that plays. He's Carrington right there behind him now in the 5th position. Kyle Hall is yet to pit. He is in the 6th position there. Heller, they're going to go by the Pontiac for position. And almost making contact with each other. But Matt Schlosser still the leader of this race. James Silver's 2nd, and Schlosser's coming in right now. And James Silvers is going to come behind him. So here comes the rotation back to the front of Mark Whitley, it looks like. We'll get you an official time here of how far of a separation it is between the leaders. We'll kind of take you through the field here in a second, show you where everybody's running. All right, so 5.7 seconds. Whitley leads over Miles. Casey Carrington now 3rd. Christopher Heller 4th. Zach Henry 5th. Let's throw up we're going to put up lap times here for a little bit and let you see how speeds are being ran. Last time by Miles 0.3 faster than Whitley. But obviously the thing is balancing the wear with the speed, how hard you drive this car. As Husby gets down there in those rumble strips, got to be careful of that. All right, so let's take you through the field here as you look on the north stretch here in the turn 4. Mark Whitley leading this race. Of course, he's led the most laps here so far, looking for 5 wins in 6 races, and to be honest, I don't know when the last time that's been done in this league. I can only think of one other time at the beginning of the league's history. Stephen Miles, 5.2 seconds back. Trying to use the tire strategy here to maybe chop in some time on Whitley. That time, a half second faster. Casey Carrington running 3rd. Casey is about 5.2, make that 7.4 seconds back from Whitley. And then behind him by about 3/4 of a second, Christopher Heller. About 8.1 seconds back. Got his teammate 1.4 back. And that is Zach Henry, 5th position for him. Zach started right there in the 5th position. One of the bigger movers in the race, up 7 positions. Mike Husby, who's got Jordan Owens right there on his tail, 6th position for him. But unfortunately, these guys 13 seconds back in the 6th and 7th positions. Josh Dillon. All right, this guy right here. I'm going to drop it on him. Casey Carrington informed me of a stat that Josh is, I believe, to be the only driver that can qualify for this as of right now. But Josh Dillon is the longest active driver that has not led a lap in series history. So I literally, when I heard this, was in the channel with Josh and with Casey, and I said, Josh, literally just today, let the cars pit and just cross the line first one time. Take the lead. Get that stat off you. And to my knowledge, he has not done that yet. He is stuck to his own game here and runs in the 8th position, but yet to lead a lap in 6 seasons, or 5 3/4 seasons, of All-American racing. Let's fix that, Josh. Come on, buddy. Kyle Ethier, 21 seconds back, 8th position here. Tyler Burden in the 10th position, I should say 9th and 10th there for Tyler. The Indiana driver right up there in the top 10. J.W. Miller has worked his way up to 11th after starting in the 32nd position. I said that Husby was one of the biggest movers. There is the biggest mover right there, J.W. Miller in 11th. Matt Schlosser running 12th right now in that 400 car. Matt's led a few laps on different occasions here during the pit stops. Doing a pretty good job. He is, unfortunately though, 30 seconds back from the leader. Jackson Van Pelt started up in the 13th, or 3rd position, I should say, running 13th. 32 seconds back. Doing a good job keeping the car clean, running all the laps. Nick Leo up to 14th after starting 24th in the Jewel Chevrolet. 34 seconds back from there, and there's James Silvers. Silvers is 36 seconds back. Silvers is 36 seconds back. John Kreidler 38 seconds back in that Wolf. The Jeff Purvis paint scheme. Basically, and he goes sliding up the track there, unfortunately. 16th position there for Kreidler. And Brad Delph, unfortunately, is falling back a little bit in this race. Brad is 38 seconds back in the 17th position. Our Daytona winner right there, Leslie Law, 18th. As he is going to let the Mountain Dew car go sliding on by there. As Weeks is continuing to try to make his comeback. Throw one car hard in the outside wall. Not sure who that was. Is that Gentry? And Shane brings it to pit road, but he absolutely pancaked the outside wall. No caution. We stay green. So Weeks passes Law for the 18th position. Gregory Martin, 20th position. One of the coolest poses in all of photos. Don't know where he found that out. Justin Ray, 21st position. For the 38 cars, led a couple laps. And he is 51 seconds back. And then Kyle Hall is the last car in the lead lap, 22nd position. As you see Whitley right there behind him. And then Drayton Cook, the first car lap down, 23rd position. And Colby Sutphin just saw, I think he made a pit stop or is behind the wall, one of the two. Something's going on there. I cannot find him all of a sudden, so. Get this thing cooperating with me. There we go. So back to the leader. 4.6 seconds to lead between Whitley and Miles here. 25 laps to go. So when do you make the final pit stop here? Let's bring up the drawing board here for a second. And show us the top 10 of the pit stop laps here. Of course, everybody pretty much on top of another. So Whitley probably going to see around lap 65. Does Miles chance it and go to 67? Of course, Heller there at 43. As see Kyle Hall trying to maybe break the draft there, or did he drop a hot pocket or throw a water bottle out the window? I don't know what he was doing there. Might have been trying to get some debris on the track. Now look at this dogfight right here. As Henry, Heller, and Carrington, sounds like a law firm, third, fourth, and fifth battling each other as they pass the lap car of Drayton Cook. As Kyle Ethier, the first, back on the pit road now. With 23 laps to go, he should be right in the window now. If not, maybe a little, he might have to save a little bit here. And he overshoots his pit stop. Right side tire is going to go on. 4 in fuel for the 60. And Christopher Heller going to be the first on pit road for the leaders. I say the leaders, top 5. Which I believe is a little earlier than usual for him. Like he was actually like middle of the pack pitting, I think. So this might be more of a, I don't want to call it a Hail Mary throw, but just trying something different. So Heller pulls away for the final time unless a yellow comes out. And I tell you right now, if a yellow comes out in this race, that man is going to take the lead of this race, because there's the leader right back there on the back straightaway. So the window's officially open now for pit stops. It's just a matter of when to come to pit road, and you see Miles has knocked a whole second off of Whitley's time here in the last couple laps. There's Miles right there at the top of the screen as Whitley goes around blinking Martin. So I think what you're going to see is a lot of these guys probably go as long as they can. Run the fuel out so that the tires are as max grip-wise. $19 to go, Carrington on pit road. So here we go with fourth place Carrington. A little bit of right front damage has been a problem for that 9 ever since the little mix-up with he and Miles. Miles tried to make a pass for position earlier, and I think it caught Casey off guard. Four tires and fuel. And here comes Whitley to pit road. So the leader is in at 19 to go. Nick Leo on pit road also. Here comes Jordan Owens. Can appreciate all the viewers who have been watching tonight throughout the night. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you coming back and always ask for you to go tell 2 friends and tell 2 friends about the stream. That would be 4 people if you combine that together. And Whitley pulls away. 15.1. And just going to check out his Delta time real quickly. 49.4, so not bad. I mean, those are good numbers. I was just more shocked when Miles did a 47. I was like, holy crap. I mean, he pretty much sent it down there in the pit road. As here comes Henry. He's going to send it in there. I mean, that's what this IndyCar pit road allows you to pretty much send it in. Hold my beer, boys. Or if you're young enough, hold my hugs. As Husby pulls away, John Kreidler and Matthew Weeks on pit road also. Tyler Burton under attack here as Matt Schlosser's actually caught him for the 3rd position right now. And of course, Brad Delph with the fresher tires is going to go blow by both of them. So Miles stays out. He's going to run this thing dry pretty much. And that right there did not help Miles. Josh Dillon, Tyler Burton all on pit road here. You see the fresher tires starting to go by the 1. Let's see. Miles might be talking to Ether. He's going to come to pit road here. And that's why Kyle went to the top side here. So 14 laps to go. Here comes the 1. The 4 tires and fuel for all these guys. 15.1 for Miles. And this time only about 0.2 quicker. Not even 0.2, about 1/10 3/4 quicker in the Delta time on pit road. So Schlosser leads now by all of 4.5 seconds over Whitley, as Matt still has to pit. And then James Silver still has to pit. And then Christopher Heller is going to jump to the 2nd position now. Casey Carrington will be 3rd. Zach Henry will move to 4th. And then Stephen Miles will be now in the 5th position, but with the freshest tires to work with. For those who just joined us, we've literally been green since lap 5. We had a caution at turn 1 on the first lap, and then from there it has been clean and green. We've seen some great racing, some good passing, pit strategy coming into play. But once again, it's been the domination of the 77. Coming up on the older tires of James Silvers here. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly what that was right there. James Silvers is a teammate to Carrington. So Carrington was communicating with Silvers to pull down, and Henry went to go down. As Whitley catches the 400 car here, see, he's going to come to pit road now, so. And he's going to have Whitley, being he, an 8.5 second lead over Christopher Heller with 11 laps to go. So tonight was the first night of the Petit Le Mans race being ran on iRacing, so there's actually a few drivers running over the Nat race tonight. So that's maybe why you see some drivers not running in this race tonight as Stephen Miles goes by Carrington. Let's see if he can get the run on Henry into the corner. And he's not able to. As I mentioned earlier, Shane Gentry, you saw him earlier hit the outside wall. First start in his series in almost 2 years. So good to see him racing in the series tonight. Miles gets free off the corner. Miles having a hard time getting around Henry. Doing a good job there, but just getting that dirty air on that nose has kind of costed him. Finally, though, he does get around Henry. You know, tried something different, but Whitley's done a great job of countering each move that the one has done. Has been able to stretch it out. Let's go back here. Josh Dillon inside of Kyle Ethier. This is for the 8th position. And this is the part where turn 1 actually becomes an issue. And I say that for the sake of, you saw the shade there from the turn 1 grandstands. It can get kind of blinding trying to get into that corner. And going all of 200 miles an hour down to turn 1, that is a corner you don't want to miss. It's actually here. We'll go on board with Ethier. As you see the clouds there on the north side of the track here. Go down to turn 4, and then you're going to go through the front stretch here, obviously with grandstands on both sides, and you're going to notice a little bit of shade. Obviously, use the markers on the outside to kind of get yourself set up. There's the 3, there's the 2, there's the shade, there's the 1, there's the mark, there's the corner, and all of a sudden you're back out in the sun. Miles to the inside of Heller now for second. Still got 16 cars on the lead lap. You got to feel terrible for Matthew Weeks after the incident with the 01 car. Got damage fixed, but with the whole spreading out of the pace car and stuff on the caution, really confused the field up, and Weeks wasn't able to get much of the damage fixed on that left side, but here he is, 16th position. Has made the best of a bad situation today, and I know he's not going to be a happy camper about it. Looks like that's about where he's going to probably finish this race. He's 2.5 seconds behind Kreidler. Could get to him. But I know Matthews is going to be pretty disappointed when this thing's over with. As Heller just trying to fight that car as he tries to hold off his teammate here for third. Henry just too much. So one change, by the way, I do want to announce on the schedule for this season. It was announced actually earlier today. The the Darlington and Richmond race have been swapped on the schedule. Originally, Darlington was going to be run the second to final race of the season before Homestead. But that has now been moved to Richmond, which was going to be next week's race. So now, instead of going to Richmond, we're going to go to Darlington next Friday night for 200 miles of racing. So hopefully we will see you for the race next Friday night at 8:15 Eastern time. From the track Too Tough to Tame, where Mark Whitley, if he can finish off these next 10 miles, will be looking for a 6th win in 7 races. Good battle back here as Burden goes around Ethier for the 9th position as Nick Leo, who is now lapped down, unfortunately. Watching that battle happen there in front of him. Next person in line for Kyle will be his teammate J.W. Miller behind him. You would have thought that the way this race started for everybody, that we would have issues and have maybe some cautions in this race, but it has been far from that. Only the one so far, and that was again turn 1, lap 1, basically. A little checkup. Then they've been clean and green throughout, and now Whitley down the back straightaway. Going to see the white flag here next time by. what some might call a Brickyard beatdown. White flag, final lap. So the only race that Mark Whitley has not won since August 18th was a race won by Alex Penn on a road course when Mark Whitley wrecked. You want to guess what position Mark Whitley was in when he wrecked? He was the leader. So he was on his way to winning 5 straight, if not 6 straight today. But sometimes it's just not meant to be. Whitley through 3 and 4 in the north section of the track, gonna dominate here at the Brickyard and add his name to a traditional list of not only NASCAR winners but iRacing winners at this track. But this one might be the biggest one of them all, as Mark Whitley wins the 3rd Brickyard 200 at Indianapolis. 8.6 seconds over Stephen Miles. Zach Henry 3rd. Christopher Heller 4th. Casey Carrington gets a top 5. The only thing I feel bad about is I do have the camera package on the other Indianapolises has that traditional camera shot to the start-finish line. So that was the best one I could pull off. In case you didn't notice, I was using a few laps on the broadcast trying to find that camera, see if I had it. But it wasn't working. But hey, it's all good. All right, Whitley, remember the rules from NASCAR this season. No burnouts on the bricks. I heard that the first time. I was like, well, what? Good call on that one. Of course, 97 winner Ricky Rudd. And there goes the bricks, getting covered by the burnout. Let's do burnouts on pit road. They're all doing burnouts on the bricks. What the heck? Oh, man. Let's take a look at the finishing order. So Whitley parks it there on the bricks as he wins it by 8 seconds over Stephen Miles. Zach Henry finishes 3rd. Christopher Heller. Casey Carrington ends up your top 5. Jordan Owens finishing in the 6th position with Mike Husby 7th. Josh Dillon 8th. Tyler Burden 9th. J.W. Miller ends up in the top 10 with Matt Schlosser 11th. Kyle Ethier 12th, Jackson Van Pelt 13th, Brad Delph and John Kreidler your top 15. Matthew Weeks ends up the first car lap down in the 16th position. James Silvers 17th, Leslie Law finishing in the 18th position. 19th goes to Justin Ray, Craig Martin 20th, Kyle Hall 21st, Drayton Cook 22nd, Nick Leo 23rd, Shane Gentry 24th, Colby Sutphin 25th. Thomas Stanley 26th, Alex Harrington and Corolla Steele finishing 27th and 28th. 29th to Carson George, 30th Terry Freer, Tim Averill, Jacob Locklear, your 32 finishers in the race. As we'll talk to drivers that finished in the top 3. Whitley's up there waiting on us. And of course, our third place finisher tonight, Zach Henry, who gets by his teammate there with a couple laps to go. Zach, I know that was a tough battle here tonight. Of course, it looked like maybe early that it could be an interesting race with the quick caution, but then everything just kind of cleaned itself off for a second straight year. Only one caution in the race, and just turned into a battle of getting the best you can with pit strategy and all that kind of stuff.
That's about how this track always goes. I've noticed. If we do a caution, it's usually early, and then it's just green flag from there, which I like. I personally am not a fan of this track all that much. So, the quicker we can get this one done and over with, the better.
Would you rather be golfing out there on the Brickyard crossing, or are you not a golfer? Would you rather be swimming?
I'm not a golfer, but I'd probably prefer to golf than drive around this place. It's not bad. It's just, the laps are super slow. It takes forever to get around the place, and there's just not a whole lot going on even in the car. So to me, it's just one of the more boring tracks out there.
That's fair. And well, you still did a great job. Another great points night for you. I know Whitley's been kind of tearing it up, but you and your teammate there, Heller, just continue to carry the team and get 25-11 good team points.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the one positive we have. We were actually talking about that a little bit during the race. With how good Mark's been, I don't know that anybody's really going to compete for the drivers' championship. So Chris and I were just saying, we'll focus on the team championship, make sure we can get something out of the season.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and send some shout-out to whoever you like to.
Always got to start out with my wife and any family that I got watching. 25-11 teammates, Chris and Brandon. As always, it's great racing with those guys, and it was great to see both Chris and I have a good run today. I feel like that hasn't happened too terribly often this season. Congratulations to Mark once again for winning. He's kicking our butt, and if it wasn't for him, I don't know, getting a little too aggressive on the throttle at Watkins Glen, this would be a significantly more boring season to watch than what it has been.
Right.
I always got to shout out Casey and the admin team. They do great, and I love racing in this league and have so much fun. And then you, Chris, for doing these broadcasts. I know you put a little bit of extra time than what I've seen some other people do. So I think you do a great job, and I look forward to watching it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And yeah, Zach, congratulations on your third place finish, and keep up the good work, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. As Henry finishes P3 on the field here this evening, and obviously he and his team continue to pull away there in the team standings. Of course, the two of them, and then the TI guys who, of course, have Miles and Ethier and JW Miller. Those guys had a good run team-wise tonight, finishing all three in the top 10, with Stephen Miles leading the group there in the second position as Stephen joins us. I know you're getting closer and closer to that win, and I know you want it very badly, and tonight would have been a pretty good time to have it, but obviously being, if you will, the best of the rest right now with the way Whitley's running, I would think there's a little satisfying there.
Nah, not at all, man. I gotta find something. I gotta do something. I just knew how this race was gonna go out, like at the beginning, if it didn't have no cautions, and I gave it away. I feel like I lost it when I was in third early in the race, trying to pass for second. I got arrow tight because just how this race set up, when the leader get that clean air, I mean, he's pretty much good. He got to manage the lead because you can't drive harder. You're just gonna burn your stuff up faster. So he's really in the catbird seat when he does that, because he could short pit and gain extra time, or he could stay out longer and run me down at the end. So I just knew when I lost that second, that was gonna be hard to climb back from that. I'm really surprised I even got it. I thought I finished third. I felt like the 8 was fast too, but I think he pitted different how he did. But all in all, it was fantastic race. Casey always makes sure these go good. I really didn't care if a caution came out or not. I just felt like 77, he's on rails and he's showing it every week. So I have to get back to that practice, man, and start practicing and try to get better.
And you're one that definitely, I talked about a little bit how you practice and stuff, and I'm looking over here at the point standings. They've been updated, and it's starting to turn into almost a fight between 3 or 4 of you right there at that third position. And the problem is, obviously, Weeks had his issues tonight. with that caution there on lap 1. But otherwise, you, Heller, Henry, all on top of another with Carrington. And then, of course, Whitley there taking the win. You guys are right there in the top 6, and it's making it even tougher to finish second and still be 6th in points.
Yeah, I mean that's how basically how you describe it, the best of the rest, because he's in a whole different field. Even though once I get in the run towards the middle and end of the run, I'm running the same times or at least better, but it's not showing out there on the track. So I have to get my short run speed up or something without trying to burn these tires off, man. But I mean, I appreciate them though, man, because that just keeps me wanting to come back every week. It keeps me wanting to get better, and you need that. You need that.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight. Send some shout out to whoever you like to.
Shout out to Marion Chrysler and Dodge dealership in North Carolina. One of the best price dealerships around, man. Go check them out online. Thank Lewis, iRacing. Thank JW Miller, Ether for fighting hard out there, man, and coming in week after week with some good finishes. And appreciate you, one of the best broadcasters out there, and Casey for running this league. And thank God and thank my girlfriend. And that'll be it, man. Have a good night.
You too, buddy. Be safe.
You too.
Stephen Miles finishing second tonight, as I mentioned, 6th in points still. He's only 3 behind Heller, but man, there is a fight up there at the top right now because everybody is closely finishing apart from each other as the man just continues to rip this league apart pretty much win by win by win. But of course, tonight's the Brickyard, probably maybe the biggest win for you in this league, obviously tonight. But not only that, you get the special gift of becoming the points leader tonight after 5 wins.
Finally.
Right?
I feel like I've been chasing Casey all this season.
Yeah, I mean, and pretty much the difference between the two of you is that finish at Watkins Glen for you, unfortunately, with the wreck and that kind of deal happening, man. But to come out here and pretty much, as I call it, the Brickyard beatdown on the field tonight, it's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I've always liked this track, and I really thought I had better results here, and I went back and looked earlier today, and my results weren't as good as I thought. So I think we've always run good here. It's just, sometimes the wall jumps out and gets you, and here you get any right side damage, you're pretty much done for the day. I think that's what was hampering Casey toward the end of the runs, what he was saying over the radio. So just made sure to keep it out of the wall, and really glad it went green. And I think we pulled the perfect strategy. I think just did the slight overcut compared to those guys that were cutting it up 20, 40, 60. Ran a couple laps longer. We were able to kind of get back around them pretty quick. And Steven, I think he was running the opposite. He was running long every time, and it was putting him out too far behind me. I mean, he was catching me. He went from 12 seconds to 8.5. So I mean, he was really catching me, but it was just too much ground, not enough time. I mean, he kept me honest. I couldn't never really take my foot off the pedal per se. I'm just glad to get off the win. I was really just coming in here hoping to get a good run, just finish in front of Casey. I know we were pretty much tied. I think he was 1 point in front of me coming in here. So pretty much all of tonight was going to be just, just beat Casey was the whole mentality. And then we had that really quick caution on the first start of the race, and that took Matthew out, which I know he's another guy I really got to watch out for in the championship. So after that, I was just trying to save the tires, and it just kind of worked out. We got to the lead, stayed there, and called the right strategy. And, thankfully, no cautions. I know my spotter, Brantley, he was sitting there when we crossed the line for 2 to go. He said, "All right, be careful, but get your ass around to this white flag as soon as you can." He was like, "We do not want a caution." So that 2 to go, I kind of pushed it a little bit. But, thankfully, the caution didn't come out, and we were able to just kind of cruise. Glad to finally have some good luck. Like I said, last season was the complete opposite. I felt like if we didn't have bad luck, we wouldn't have any luck at all. So right. This is I'm really, really enjoying this right now, to say the least.
Hey, enjoy it while you can, because you never know when that might change. But good job tonight. Congratulations, and send some shout-outs to whoever you like to.
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, got to shout out Brantley over at Harpoon Designs. Not only does he do awesome design work for me and my teammates, he also does spotting duty whenever I have a race. I really appreciate him. I know he was talking about it was a little boring for him tonight, but I'm like, you know what? That was kind of a good thing for us. That was a good thing. So, shout out to him. He does awesome work. Check him out at harpoondesign.com. He's got a little form you can fill out if you want to get something made by him, or if you just want to check out some of his previous work. He's got almost 2,000 paint schemes on trading paints. So pretty much anything you can think of, he's got something for it on there. So check him out. And then a big shout out to my family for tuning into these broadcasted races. I really appreciate it. You know, they don't really have to spend their Friday night, you know, sitting in front of a TV watching me race, you know, race cars around a virtual track, but they do it anyway, and I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. And then big shout out to the league. We had that slight hiccup at the beginning of the race, but we went the rest of the race green, which that speaks volumes right there. We went pretty much 77 laps or whatever. Oh, actually 77 laps. That kind of a coincidence, I guess.
Right.
I just thought of that. Hey,
Oh, coinky-dink.
like everything's coming up 77. Yeah, just a hell of a league. Everybody, you know, all the way through the field, and just shout out for you for putting on the broadcast. It should be fun to go back and watch just to see how everybody else was throughout the field. See if there's any place I can maybe get a little learn something and maybe get even a little bit better. So we'll check it out here either tonight or tomorrow night.
Absolutely, bud. Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and welcome to Victory Lane here at the Brickyard.
Sounds good, man.
All right, Mark Whitley, the winner tonight here, as he wins his 5th race of the season, his 5th in 6 attempts so far here in the last couple of weeks. So he's definitely the hottest driver on the circuit, and well, we'll see next week if a lady will stop his streak potentially. So we'll just have to see.
I love me some Darlington now.
Yeah, Darlington's awesome. I love that track. So, but congratulations to him. I didn't know where to move you. I'm starting to like.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I'm about to go to my other Discord anyway. I was just trying to find it.
Have fun. Oh, yes,
Right.
I know that's right. All
Later.
right, so that is going to do it here from Indianapolis. What a great race it was. And obviously the one caution there, unfortunately, hurt Matthew Weeks a little bit there in the points. But we've got a tight battle on our hands. And as a matter of fact, let me stall here for a second. I will get you a look at the point standings here after tonight's race here at Indianapolis. Before we go to Darlington, remember the change on the schedule. Richmond was originally going to be next week, but there's been a slight change, and Darlington's been moved into the Richmond spot, and the Richmond spot is now back towards the end of the schedule where Darlington was. So that obviously changes some things up here for next week. I mean, it doesn't really change anything up for the broadcast or anything because it's still on one computer. So here we go. Point standings. Zoomed in, apparently. Whitley leads Carrington by 11 now, as Zach Henry, 44 points back in 3rd. Matthew Weeks falls a spot to 4th. Heller and Miles still 5th and 6th. So that's what I was talking about, those 6 guys right there. I mean, Whitley might be separating himself. Carrington's kind of out there a little bit, but then Henry, Weeks, Heller, and Miles all on top of another. Jordan Owens kind of on his own island there in 7th, and you got 2 teammates there, 8th and 9th. And then you got Leo and Martin right there. Kyle Hall, 12th. Abril, Dylan, and Van Pelt, your top 15 as we go again to the Lady in Black next week. So, all right, let's head out. Let's enjoy the rest of our Friday evening. I have to get up early in the morning now, so I'm going to go get some rest myself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the football, the racing, and so on and so forth. And always remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.